I'm not a shunter expert. I think this is a Yorkshire Engine Company engine. I don't know either to get off on the shunters or to get off with that man cutting wood. That's pretty good, that is. It delving well into the mysteries of my brain. It could be a Hudswell Clark, but comment below if I'm wrong on that. Well, look, there's an old sluice gate at the end of this path. Look, it would have a big wooden bar in there where you crank it round to lift it up and down. And this is it, you know, obviously would have been a threaded bar. Oh, didn't see that. It's me, Thomas Edward, also known as T.E. Right, Sir Joseph Whitworth is here on this monument. Oh no, there's a I think it's not Boris anymore. It could be Liz up there flying overhead. Whoa, that's a big chopper. Anyway, we'll best I'll just let it come over and tell you all about this man in a minute. Can't beat a chopper over the Derbyshire Dales. Makes a good day. Anyway, this is Sir Joseph Whitworth, and anyone who is going in ahead, oh, Whitworth, there's a few old boys watch the channel. You'll be thinking, oh, Whitworth spanners, you know, like AF spanners, you know, for what before we went into metric. Well, he is the man. That is the name, you know, spanners, and also he's the man who standardised threads. So in the very olden times, everyone who was building something mechanical, anything from the motorised horse, so to speak, and everything else, people would just machine a nut together and a thread, but it wouldn't be any. They just do any sizes. So when people were trying to find that size of that nut or that thread, they could never find it because it was custom made. You know, it was done. So Sir Joseph here standardised all the threads, so you could walk into a hardware store or a machine shop and say, I want 11th, 16th, like size nut, what will go on a such and such thread, and it'd be a standard size thread. But before that, it wasn't. People would be rummaging around in the granddad's box trying to find a nut to fit onto the certain thread. So he standardised it, and he was also. This is Whitworth Park, by the way, and behind us is the Whitworth Institute, because he liked helping all his workers and the people in his local surroundings have a good time. So it's got a pool in it and a billiards room and a games room, the whole shebang with TEs happening in the institute. And today you can go and have nosebag up there. What we might do later, we might go and have a bit of nosebag. And this is his park here. We've got people playing bowls behind us. There's a kids' play park, and I think there's a football ground behind us. It's quite a big park, and there's something in there. I think it's a skate park behind the camera. But in the park, behind the camera, there was, right up there, you might be able to see it, there's a cannon, and that's to do with, it's not necessarily, I think they probably did have workings in a cannon, but I don't know quite the history, but it was, he had a really, he had a really, he was one of the first to do a really accurate sort of rifle, and the barrel in it, and he designed it. It's like a snapper rifle, and it's something to do with the barrel on it. It's like dead accurate. It's not like it didn't go like, it wasn't going all over the place. It was dead straight, and you know, got to the point. So and it spun out the barrel. It didn't go out straight. It was like you chucked the ball. It was it was threaded, just like he did his threads. You know, the Whitworth thread, he did a threaded sort of barrel of a gun, a rifle. So that was him there. And this is his monument. And around the other side, I was looking when we walked past, like a difference of 1/1,000,000th of an inch is measured by using 4 true planes in concert. Whitworth Scholarship founded. Right, that's enough of that. That's his monument. That's the Whitworth Institute. This is the Whitworth Park. So if we're doing the TE show. Well, actually, I'm going to call it a name. We're doing the Darley Dale Shunter walk today. And it's a short walk. And if you start there at the Institute, come through the park, we go down there, and we're going to go to Darley Dale railway station, and that's the next point of interest. So this is Darley Dale station. I've been on here a few times, got off here. The last time I was here, 2019, with Tilly up north and the cameraman and me. We got off here and we had a bit of a mooch round. That's last time I was here. So it's way before the lockdown last time I was here. So this is Darley Dale station, and this line we're on, what I'm stood right at the middle of, it's currently shut today. It's only sort of weekends they have running. We're in middle week, we're on a Wednesday today. This was the old line what went from St Pancras in London that way and went up to Manchester Central. What's that way? What's the GMX now, where a lot of showbiz happens there now rather than railway industry. It's a lot of like the Britpop area, all that sort of played there. And it shut about 68, 69, so the end of steam. You know, when steam disappeared in 68, it disappeared, this line. And then it was picked up eventually by who runs it today. It's Pete Rail, and they run all their heritage stock up and down it. And there's even a bit of PWL happens here. Pete Waterman has a diesel stored here at the moment, and they have lots of interesting. They have the Shunter shed. They have like big mainline diesels get refurbed here and stuff. It's a bit like Midland Railway, but there's quite a lot happening. They sort of have to pay the rent, so they have lots of different like clubs in what have their own locos here. And at the moment, Pete Rail have it, but it only goes from Rowsley up there to Matlock. It's not very far they sort of run, but it's good. It's good action if you can get behind. They have a nice regional railways class 31 here, and you get behind that, you get a bit of thrash. And they also have a class 44 peak. What Mark Waterman, not associated to Pete Waterman, likes. He likes a peak, and I think he likes a 44 peak, and that runs in there. And I saw that last time I was here. You might have seen on a video about 6 months ago, I used the end of a video, or beginning of a video, a beginning of my Buxton video, I think it was, and had a peak and a rat coming out of Matlock Station. And that's the last time I was here, and I used that. So yeah, that's what they have, and they have a lot of steam as well. But this line, TE, going back many years to when I was young, we've been here at like, they have like a military day, a World War II day, what they have up at Rowsley. I've been here a few times. And they have been on here like Christmas stuff, and they have the scary clown who I didn't like as a kid, who'd turn up on a rabbit reliant, and Mum told him to go away because I didn't like him. So yeah, we've been here a lot over the years. But anyway, this is part of my Darley Dale Shunter walk, and this is not why I'm here. I've got to go that way to show you Darley Dale Shunter walk. So I've come from the station over there, crossed this road, then down this public footpath here between the houses, and I think there's a council yard there. Oh, here it is. This is the Darley Shunter walk. Now, I must point out the very first thing is I'm no shunter expert, or I don't bash shunters. You know, I've never really bashed a shunter. I think the nearest I've got to it is maybe looking around the shunters at Walkup up our way, maybe East Lancs. I do like it. I tell you what, well, it's not really a shunter, but I do like a teddy bear or a Clayton. I think that's the nearest I could get to a shunter. But when you get into proper quarry engines like these are, when you get into your Hunslets, your Rushtons, you know, and you lots of other makes of shunters, you know, you've got to correct me on some of these. This is just a minefield of boggling, bashery stuff where only a real shunter expert would tell you. Now, I think this is the Shunter Preservation Society here at Peak Rail, and I don't know if all of them are owned by the same preservation, you know, the same club, so to speak, or is it different people? You know, I know people who collect cars, you know, and they have stacks of cars. Is this one person, or is this many people, you know? Like if I had a spare 10 grand, I could have my shunter here, you know. So I don't know who owns what here, and there's about, we've just had a quick recce up to the top. There's about 15 shunters here. It's quite a lot, and it's quite an interesting shunter. What I remember when it was in bits before it got done up a few years ago. So let's have a look along here. And you can just see there, look, there's an ICI there, a blue one, look, and it's, you know, ICI, you know, like with hoppers and stuff like that. Crows, look. They've all got tarps on, so the roofs must be leaking on them. But it looks like in quite working condition, that one does. It doesn't look too knackered like the rest of them. It's probably thinking about local quarries. It's probably Tunstead shunter, that, because it's ICI, and there's a lot of ICI in the quarries around here. From looking at on the side of Arctics to looking on the side of hoppers, what it said ICI hoppers on. So it's probably quite a local shunter, that. There's probably men who are working on it, refurbing it now, who've worked on it in the quarries. Now you'll get a lot of this along the shunter walk. People being either refurbing them engines are took out for full overhaul, or they've robbed bits off it for other shunters. You know, like sometimes you get a rare shunter, and when you get another one come along what's worse condition, you rob bits off it for the better condition one. And I think that is another shunter name that's just come to the head. I think that's a Sentinel, that. And then you get quite a lot of Sentinels all over the place, and they all look different. Like, I always thought a Sentinel had a central cab and then you had two bonnets either end, but you don't. You can get Sentinels what a one cab with a long bonnet. I always thought they were in the middle, but you can get lots of different ones. That's like a Hunslet behind it, just looking at the shape of the grille and the cab, but I might be wrong there, because Hunslet engines are always quite agricultural looking engines, or they're like something Sam Morris has put together in his shed. You can see there that one's seen better days. It's got a bit of rust on it there. It needs Tony Harrison to get a bit of body work doing on that one. And there's a few, I think, like maybe another Hunslet at back, I don't know. And in over there, you probably just see the cab of it. You might have to go back down the path. There's like a tamper machine, or it's one of those rail freight machine kind of job. They're like a multiple unit, but you carry freight. Quite an interesting looking loco. It looks a bit like a Skipper Class 67, but it's not. This is almost like a Rushton here almost, but in the back there, it's like a Class 03. See the chimney? It's not a steam engine, it's actually a diesel. And I think it's a British Rail like Class 03. What you'd find at Doncaster Works, you'd find a lot of them at Doncaster Works, around Darlington and places. They were like everyone in Midlands and that, and West Coast had Class 08s. And things like that, but you tend to find on East Coast when Deltics were around in the 70s and 60s, but all the works like Doncaster Works had Class 03s like that with the little chimney on top. They're quite a good looking engine, but that's painted an old like British Rail green that is, but they look nice when they're in blue with yellow ends. This one here, this blue one, it's like a Rushton, but I think this is delving into me Basherist brain here, even though I'm not a shunter expert. I think this is a Yorkshire Engine Company engine, and that's just delving into those dark hidden places in my brain what I don't touch upon very, very many times a year. So that's going back to me old days of reading Railway Illustrated with Pete Dunn as the publisher back then, before he's gone on to doing Trucking magazine now. But behind it is a very interesting yellow engine. What you can just see says ICI on it there. And now this engine is quite an interesting engine. Now this yellow engine here, it's all yellow and it's all nicely done. It's recently had a full refurb about 2 years ago. Now this engine worked at Tunstead, and then he sort of has like a working engine, but originally it was a Peckett steam engine before. Now it's got a big Rolls Royce. A bit of showbiz is happening. It's got a Rolls Royce diesel engine in it. But when it retired, it went to Dinting, and I think there's actually workings on YouTube of it actually working action, doing a bit of shunting. So we'll have to find that and put this in as I'm talking now. Then disappeared, and it went into a car park at the top of Whitworth. And for many years, I think it was painted green or yellow. It might have been still yellow, but it had gone off and rusty. And it had no glass in it, no interior. All the engine panels were missing on the side. All that was left was that Rolls Royce grille. And I think even copper thieves have been in and nicking all copper off it. So it was completely knackered. And then very recently, this preservation down there have got hold of it, brought it down here and done a full refurb. And you can tell how modern the refurb is because they've got LED lights on the cab. They put all new glass in it and they've painted it up and got it running again. So hopefully I might be able to try and find some newer running videos from recent times. So that engine, I remember being on a bike looking at it, thinking what a wreck. And now it's like a proper not showroom condition, but it's a working engine now. What you can jump in, fire up, and shunting, So there you go. That's an engine I do know about. Then we get a massive well wagon now with no bogies on, with like a flat rail wagon on top of it. So they've got a few bits of rubbish knocking around. It's like, we'll do something with that one day, but they never do. That's what happens. There's a few more, you could say, old tarps there on them, so they're all leaking, and they try and cover them up, keep weather off them, because in Derbyshire you get like 6 foot of snow every year, and quite a lot of wind blowing everything around. And that's probably another Yorkshire Engine Company there. It's like the same sort of grille as that one with that central light on it. Might not be, it might be a Hunslet or a Rushton. It delving well into the mysteries of my brain. It could be a Hudswell Clark, but comment below if I'm wrong on that. And I think there's like a thumper there, or it could be the electric version of a thumper. And these look like Rushtons and Sentinels. That's a Sentinel, I would have thought there, that blue one. Wow, there's a man cutting some wood up behind me. It's very exciting. I don't know either to get off on the shunters or to get off with that man cutting wood. That's pretty good, that is. Just think we could put that in the TE shed, in the cameraman's shed for this winter's wood when we run out of heating. We've got to get the wood. Wonder what they're going to do with it. Got some wheels there, all wrapped up, ready to go for something. Yeah, it's pretty cool, and you can't beat the Darley Dale shunter walk with TE. On quite a warm September's day. And they've got a few more here. We'll get to this opening up here. I think that is a Sentinel at back. And then these are like, that's a Hudswell there. You can actually see it on grill. And then that's a complete mystery there. It's probably a Rushton actually. But yeah, it's a bit of a mad place, the Darley Shunter Walks. You don't know if you're coming down that path what you find, and then you're like, whoa, there's loads of shunters here. But they've done a good job, because the average day scrote will think, oh, just jump over there and do a bit of poking around. But the average day scrote, there's a few scrotified, well, a scroter trap, I should call it, where they jump over there and they get stuck in it. Unless they can jump like Usain Bolt, you know, get over there and, you know, jump over. But there's I like the word scrotes, because there is a few in the world that are not very nice, and you've got to keep them out when you've got a lot of cash that's hanging around. You know, there's a lot of money there, but there you go. But if you want to come in as a normal person, you know, you're just like me, the TE, you like coming out, having a mooch on public footpaths, and seeing the Darley Shunter Walk from end to end. And now I think we're going to go that way, go around, get onto A6 just outside Matlock, and walk back to the car, and maybe go to Whitworth Institute and get a bit of nose bag. I think that's the plan. And then after that, we're going to finish the video and then get back off into Matlock and do a bit of antique shopping and see Tilly up north and T's other brother and T's mum. So we're on Old Road now, and if we go this way, it heads up to the A6. There's something else of interest along this road. Up Old Road is this place here, what's Red House Stables. It used to be a carriage museum, but nowadays you can have carriage rides, but that's all you can really do. And the big Shire horses, or, you know, the proper horses for pulling carts and carriages, are in this field, but they're not here today. I think Harold's is a big Shire horse called Harold. He's in the stables today. He's not in his field. And Richard off TV. I don't know what his show's called, because I haven't had a TV for a lot of years now. But he come here and doing a bit of buying, a bit of Lovejoy. And not many weeks after he'd been, or it'd been on TV, it got burgled, it got broke into, and lots of stuff went missing. So I think since then you've decided not to have it as a museum and just have it as to ride people up and down on carriages instead. So they've since not being a museum, I think guys bought it, or it sort of decided a new angle of business. And they're going to have a browse and buy sort of like second-hand antiques kind of shop. And the horses from here, I think the lady does the horses for Derbyshire here. They get them out and get him working for a bit of royalty, you know, or a bit of showbiz really. But we're not going to go up behind camera to the A6. I'm going to actually go along that hedge line there, where that fence is, and then it goes into that hedge as a footpath. So we're going to cut this corner off, and then it will drop us onto the A6. So if any TE fans out there got a motorhome or a VW Transport or a caravan, there's a caravan site there, just a bit down from Red House Stables. But do beware, there's no showers, but you do get electric hookup. But if you've got a big posh showbiz van with a shower, you're all right. Well, look, there's an old sluice gate at the end of this path. Look, it would have a big wooden bar in there where you crank it round to lift it up and down. And this is it, you know, obviously would have been a threaded bar. But it's all blocked up. But you can actually see the groundworks and the lay of the land where it's had like a dike or a channel through there for water. So if this has got a sluice gate on here, it wouldn't be an average like ditch at the end of the field. This is mean because there's lots of industrial bits around here. Even today in 2022, all those years ago, there might have been factories sat on here, an old factory, and this was its sluice gates here for like an overflow, you know. It might have had a big water wheel, you know, like an undershot water wheel somewhere, and this was like this would come out your mill pond, so to speak, and you'd wind it out to let it out. Because it's got some big old sort of sandstone bridge here, so it's old, and it's all dried up and it's not here anymore. Both directions. That's been the sort of the water channel down there as well. So it's a bit of, we're doing a bit of, looking at culverts, we're doing a bit of Patrick Dickinson. Hello, it's Patrick Dickinson here. We're, you know how we get goes on, and that's how it happens. But today we're here, we didn't see you there instead. Right, we've got to A6. We're going to get over here, swing a left down there to do the Whitworth Institute, where I'll do my ending with probably a bit of nose bag, hopefully, or maybe not. And we've done a full loop with TE. It's a bit fast here and a bit loud, and it's a very narrow path. So I recommend we try and, when it's quiet, cross over there and walk on that side, up past the Texaco garage, and then cross back over further up. I think that's what we're going to do. So after this car, I think we're on for crossing. Yeah, let's go. And that path I've just done, it obviously carries on up there, up the fell. And there's a big garden centre here with lots of polytunnels. There you go, so we're back at the Whitworth Institute. You get brass bands on Sunday apparently, so we need to come back down and have a bit of showbiz. But anyway, if you enjoyed today's Darley Shunter walk, and we've done a loop walk with me, TE, or also known as Thomas Edwards, make sure you give us a like, a subscribe, a comment below, and remember to click that big bell. Ding!